The unit we decided to create is based upon the book Holes by Louis Seacher, but also and more importantly based upon the research on multiliteracies and actual student feedback on how they would like to learn in schools. Our survey was completed by 3 middle school girls who answered our questions on communication, on technology, and on literacy and reading. In terms of communication, these 3 middle school girls need a broader background on all of the modes of communication and how that could affect the ways that we learn, express ourselves, and create meaning. In terms of technology, the girls expressed great interest in using technological activities into their schooling. They would all like to see the iPad used more. In terms of literacy and reading, they all failed to distinguish the difference. We would use these results in order to plan our unit. Colin Pullen put it best. If we educators do not build bridges between the students' cultural experiences in and out of school, we run the grave risk of schooling becoming less and less relevant. In other words, we need our students' input, their interests, their strengths, their cultures, in order to make school beneficial for them.
The book Holes was picked because it went with the appropriate level of the girls we surveyed. It is also a Newbery Medal winner and can relate to many students in a variety of ways. It also, like many books, has a great plot and many characters that can be explored in a variety of ways, especially with the use of technology. The No Child Left Behind legislation requires that schools assist every student in crossing the digital divide by ensuring that every student is technologically literate by the time the student finishes the 8th grade. This book has been adapted to a movie which will allow students to compare and contrast the version made by Hollywood to the version they will read. We should also mention that this unit is specifically based on Holes, but the way it was planned will act as a base for upcoming units for middle school English classes. The unit will span over 4 weeks. We plan for the needs of all types of students and learners by creating individual, partner, and small group assignments. In addition, the final assignment will assess the students on not only if they answer their question, but their process and reflection, as well as the modes of communication they use to create their message. Students will learn about different modes throughout the unit, as well as use many different types of digital technology. We agree with Colin Powell's argument that students can develop their literacy through a rich social network rather than through text-only resources.
In the first week of the unit, students will work as partners to create a Pixton character online. They will write why they chose the character, as well as reasons why and how they portray their characters. This week, they will also start writing on the classroom blog. These posts will include the reactions on the characters read, as well as their answers to the teacher's directed questions. At the end of the week, small groups will be assigned to one of the major characters and create a Facebook page for that character. This will be done with the use of an iPad. Students will continue to work and update their character's Facebook page throughout the unit based on what they're reading in the story. In the second week, the students will continue to individually answer questions on the blog, as well as work with their group on the character's Facebook page. The students will also watch a few clips from the movie Holes. In literature groups, they will compare and contrast their reactions by creating a Glockster. By introducing and using Glockster as a part of our curriculum, we are making sure that students can understand how this technology can combine multiple forms of communication. We agree with Colin Pullen when they state that it's not okay to use technology as an add-on or a tool, or something to tack on to our teaching. Teachers need to show the reasons behind the technologies that they use and how that it could benefit students in their learning.
In the third week, students will continue again to update their character's Facebook and respond on the blog. This week, the students will also be introduced to the final project. Students will have a choice to create an iMovie, a video podcast, or online cartoon strips to answer the teacher's question. The project allows students to use a multimodal approach to learning, where they have to be aware of many modes. In addition, they will be required to write a final reflection, which is where they reflect on the process of their work, rather than just the final product. Students will be provided a rubric and previous sample projects to aid them. The rubric, similar to those from previous assignments in this unit, will assess them on answering the question, their modes of communication, their overall effort, grammar and conventions, and their final reflection. In the final week of the unit, students will discuss the final chapters in class and also have time to wrap up their Facebook pages with their final statuses, wall posts, and interests pertaining to what they are reading about in the novel. They will blog once about their final project so that the teacher may be aware of how everything's coming along. and they will have 2 full class days to work on their final projects within their groups.
As we said before, this unit is just a basis for the rest of the units that you'd plan throughout a school year. So for the continuum within the school year, as the year goes on and new novels are read by the class, this multi-literacy learning will continue. Students may enjoy new projects and different activities, but the sample unit will serve as a basis. They might just do Facebook accounts at the end of the novel or create comic strips on an important scene in the story. These activities and ideas will give students the required language and multimodal learning, a broader outlook on what communication is, as well as the critical thinking skills required when taking part in multiliteracy's curriculum. As Miller states in her article, schools must change from current approaches of institutions of old learning that prepare students for life and work in print-only industrialized world of the past. Basically, if we want our students to be successful in the future, then it is necessary to incorporate these new technologies into our pedagogy.
This slide allows us to see how many standards that our unit actually does hit. Within our whole multiliteracies unit, students are able to read, write, speak, and listen, and hit all these specific different standards the New York State core curriculum and wants teachers to promote. Whether they're speaking within their presentation, listening to the movie, writing about the modes in their final reflection, all of these specific standards that we hit at some point in our unit. So take a look to see. Throughout the unit, we had to use specific websites to enable a multiliteracies curriculum. These are just a few of the websites that we use for the majority of the time that the students use, but there's plenty other resources that can be provided. Our works cited is provided in a Microsoft Word document because it cannot fit all on this slide. But thank you for taking your time to listen to our presentation, and I hope that you learned a new approach to multimodal learning. Thanks again.
Come on, take it out, take it out.